Hi everyone, good evening. It's Saturday. Hope everyone got in their chores today. If you didn't have to work today, those who are working from home, this was a great day to do a little bit of house cleaning, reorganize some stuff, and then hopefully tomorrow, which is Sunday, we can just kind of relax and enjoy some Netflix or some more time with family, be playing Bananagram or I don't know, just socializing with family.
Yeah, and cooking.
And cooking, of course.
Sunday is a big day for cooking. I think you started making banana bread.
You
started the prep today.
I was going to, but unfortunately that's not going to happen because the bananas went bad.
Oh, man.
I had to dispose of them. So no banana bread. Maybe some cookies will be on the menu for tomorrow. Some new recipe.
Yeah, we love baking. That's a new skill that we've been focusing on during this lockdown. I shouldn't say we, I should say Monica. She's been making banana bread, protein cookies,
and
shortbread. What else?
I think that's about it. I've made banana bread a few times just because, we tend to leave them out for long and they start getting ripe really fast. And I personally don't like overripe bananas, so.
Well, enough of bananas. We're really excited today because we have, I would say one of our own, a trail runner from the Indian community, a core member of the Soles of Cochin. We've met Vijayan multiple times across races, Malnad Ultra, Vagamon, let me think, Javadu, where else?
I have a
couple of other races.
My memory from him is from Malnad. One of the years that it was really muddy, and I was running the 88K, and I think he was running either the 80K or the longer one. Yeah. So we ran with each other for a few minutes, and it was just really muddy. So I just have that memory of him. With the mud and everything. So that's why my memory of running with Vijayan and at an ultra.
Cool. So here's a bit of an intro. As all of you probably know, the Soles of Cochin, they are a running group based in the city of Cochin. The Soles was formed in 2014 by a group of passionate runners. The bunch believed in the philosophy that anyone can run. The goal was to create a positive culture, and the group now has members of all ages who run for the joy of running, which is really important.
Yes.
Not long after that, this group decided to organize a marathon in the city, and that's when the Spice Coast Marathon was born, 2014. Since then, the event has grown leaps and bounds, and it's now in its 7th year with great numbers. Participation is increasing every year. Vijayan's foray into running was also around the same time as the Soles of Cochin group took shape. He is a core member of the group. He's run several half marathons, and of course, ultra marathons. Hungry for the outdoors and inspired by other groups such as the Chennai Trekking Club based in Chennai and the race, the Malnad Ultra. The Soles decided to organize a small team ultra in 2016. So this was a closed group ultra just for the team. No one else was invited. No one else really knew what they were up to. But then shortly after that, that little outing manifested into the form of what we know today as the Vagamon ULTrail. The first edition was in 2018. The race takes place in the meadows and ridges of Vagamon, which is a hill station located along the border of Kerala. It's nicknamed the Scotland of Asia. It provides a true paradise for us runners. Over the years, the event has gained appreciation for its selfless organization, which is really true, non-use of plastic, and its firm stance over reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let's now welcome Vijayan and learn more about his journey towards Vagamon. Hey!
Hello.
Hi, Amit, Monica.
How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Smiling and happy, healthy.
Nice I've been watching your other videos.
I'm sorry?
I've been watching your other videos.
Yeah.
Great.
How are you doing? How are things?
All good.
Yeah.
Well, in Kerala, we're a bit better off. So, we can actually go out for runs. So, I do go out for morning runs, maybe 10 or 12, come back. Obviously, we'll have to move around with the mask, which makes it slightly difficult.
Yeah.
But then it's the order of the day. I think it's going to stay for some time as well. The masks are going to stay for some time as well. So, getting used to that.
Yeah. But it's nice that you can still, go out in the morning and get about an hour in, so you're not
Yes.
missing anything.
Yes,
Because
yes.
we know for an ultra runner not to be able to run, it's a little depressing. We
Yeah,
can't
it was. It was initially during the lockdown period. We found it tough, maybe running inside the house and things like that. But then finally decided, when it opened up, decided to move out. I think that gave the joy in itself.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
Good. I think it's great that you're heading out for your runs, and that gives you a little bit more positive energy. And we're really excited to go. And a little bit different scenario this time around. We usually see each other at events such as Malnad and Vagamon recently, this past January. So
And the last time I met you, I was at the 40K rest area. 42K rest area, throwing up and asking you for some words of advice. So, nice. This is
You did great. You did finish off strongly.
Yeah. It's funny how things turn around, It's like someone was sitting there looking at me, saying, okay, you're throwing up. I don't think you should continue. And I was like, no, let me just wait for someone who's positive. Let me wait. And there you come walking in. I'm like, Vijayan, talk to me, give me 2 minutes of advice and let me go from here. And you were like, just keep walking, man, just go. And that's what I did. And, walk turned into a trot, turned into a jog, and it was amazing. But going back to the Soles, the history, 2014, what was running like in 2014 in Cochin? And, how did the group come about? How did you guys figure out the name? And can you just give us a little bit of a background?
Well, I joined after the name Soles of Cochin came into the picture. But, it was started off by Ramesh, Kumarji, Mr. Kumar, and then Matthew came in. These are all people who had come in from different cities. Ramesh had come in back from the States. Matthew was there back from the States. Mr. Kumar was came in from Dubai, and these are all cities which had a running culture of their own. So probably they joined together. They knew each other through their friends here and there, and then decided to, join together and form a running group. And I can tell you stories about Matthew. Matthew, when we started off the first run of Soles of Cochin happens, and Matthew stays in a place called Kottayam, which is about 100 kilometers. He's around 70. So he comes from Kottayam by train, gets out of the station, and just for starting the group, he just spends his night at the railway station, just like that, and then joins morning for the run. And that's how the first run happens somewhere in 2014. Soles of Cochin name probably came a bit later. I think they might have deliberated among themselves, and that's how the name came up, Soles of Cochin. And I think it has got a nice ring to it. And then I saw that not long after, there was a small run which was happening in one of those promo runs where I think one of those hospitals was organizing a heart run there in Cochin. So it just came in the newspaper that there's a group, Soles of Cochin was also part of it and things like that. So I went there, joined their first run, a bit more fatty, I was, and I couldn't move. Somehow I finished around 3 or 4 kilometers and came back. But then I joined them, and you never know, that's the culture of the Soles. I would all welcome you all to Cochin and just be with us and see how we change you.
So you were not a runner when you
No. I used to trek a lot. I loved outdoors. I used to love trekking during my slightly younger days. Trekking was probably one of those things which gave you that adrenaline push. So I used to move around trekking, and then by the time around 40 years of age, you have got other priorities that come into picture. You've got a young family, and so the trekking slowly got to the background. And then suddenly at 40, you feel that the children have slightly grown up. You've got a nice settled family with you. All your things are settled there, in the sense you've got a nice relationship around people around you. And then something like this comes up. Some An activity happens. There's a run which is organized by the TCS. TCS organized a run called Fit for Life Challenge, which happened in 2014. And they came to my office and invited us as a group to participate in that event. When we went there, joined, slightly trained for it, somehow dragged ourselves to finish for the 8K. It's a 5-mile run. We finished ourselves to the 8K, and then the body was obviously tired, battered, I would say, after that 8K.
Wow.
But the soul got a good massage. I probably brought back memories of trekking and all those things, and then come back. I joined with my friend, good old friend Naushad, again my colleague. So we registered ourselves for the Mumbai half marathon. By the time, we never knew Soles was there.
Okay.
So that's a personal story. So I just we registered for that, and then we were just for ourselves. Never knew what training was. We just went there, got the Google, downloaded some training plans, started training a bit. And then, as I said, we saw this. So we met the Soles of Cochin group, and then the half marathon was easier. The Mumbai half marathon happened in the year 2015, and from then on, my life has almost been synonymous with whatever Soles has done. So that's it as far as my entry into running.
Yeah, Vijayan, I'm just gonna pause for a second. Your video is paused, so I'm wondering if it's just for us. So
No,
people who are watching, can someone comment if Vijayan's video is not
working,
not working?
If it's frozen or if it's...
To us, he looks frozen.
Okay.
Okay, so he's disconnected. I believe he's gonna try and reconnect.
Yeah. But what a great story to his journey in running. I mean, he started with the 8K run, which felt probably
difficult.
like an ultra marathon.
The last 8K of the run, probably.
Yeah. So it's great to hear that just a simple 8K run that was organized through his work has, inspired him to continue running and eventually take up ultra running, which is way beyond 8K. So that's a nice story.
Yeah. Every time we see him at Malnad, he's at the 110 and he's pushing. I remember last year, I was running the 80 and Arjun and I think we were at about 25 or 28K. And we caught up with him at an aid station and he was in the 110. And he's just smiling and sprousing around and, hey, how's it going? Yeah, keep moving on. So
yeah, he's always smiling. You can always recognize where he is when he's with a smile.
Let me just text him and check.
Those of you who are in the chat group, if you have any questions for Vijayan that you would like to ask, please don't be shy and do ask whatever question is on your mind. This can be running related. We're also going to talk about later on about the actual race, Vagamon ULTrail. So if you have questions about that, do put in your question and we'll try to get that answered for you.
Okay, seems like he's slowly making his way back. May have gone for an 8 station break. Hey, Vijayan. There you are. Yeah, let's just give him another couple of seconds or a minute for him to connect.
Hey, somebody in the chat group saying, I love Unived gels. What do you like about them? Tell us a bit more about that.
Hey, Biju, thanks. Which one is your favorite flavor?
Have you tried the new flavors? Now we have a variety. First, we only had a few of them on there. So But now that we have a little bit more, we'd love to hear what, if you are a Unived gel user, what is your favorite gel flavor? What do you like to use? And whether you've tried the elite gels or you just use the regular gels that we have.
Let me try and get him back in. Let's try one more time.
Great to hear also. Great to see that more people are putting in their questions. That makes a fun conversation and gives us oh, somebody likes lemon. That's one of the new ones.
Yeah. And you've said limon as well. So Monica will be happy about that.
Yes.
All right.
What's your favorite gel flavor?
In the elite, I would say the vanilla sea salt is definitely one that I gravitate to a lot, and the double espresso. And then in the regular, I'm gonna have to say the salted lime, salted caramel, vanilla orange,
all of them,
and the espresso cappuccino. Those are my pick. There's someone else who likes vanilla orange as well.
Salted caramel.
There's one salted
caramel.
I
like salted caramel as well. I think for the regular gels, I'll go with the, of course, espresso cappuccino for that time that you need a little bit of a boost. And then as a regular flavor, I think I like the salted caramel that I really like. And for elite gels, I'll go with the same one that Amit said, vanilla sea salt. I also like the chocolate fudge. I quite like that one too. Sorry about the difficulties that we're having here. We're trying to get things sorted.
Yeah, I'll step aside and call Vijayan real quick and see what the trouble is, and Monica can entertain you while I'm away.
If you have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Yeah. Let's get some questions for Monica. Let's put her on the spot and let her answer some questions while I step aside and call Vijayan real quick.
Somebody also likes salted cappuccino. Which one is that one?
Yeah. Are you mixing the salted caramel and espresso and then taking it?
Hi everyone.
Okay, looks like we are back.
Okay. Thank you so much for hanging in there. We're trying to figure out what's happening. We just lost the Wi-Fi there. So yeah, somebody has a question for me. Let's see. It says, how's your quarantine training going, Monica, considering the fact that you don't prefer running on a treadmill? Well, I don't like running on a treadmill, but thankfully, I'm grateful that we do have a treadmill here. So I am running on a treadmill at least almost daily. And Amit, he's on the, So I think we have Vijayan back. Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
There you are.
Hi.
There you are.
No, I was here. I think it just got disconnected maybe because of
that's okay. We're all ultra runners. We know you have a low moment and you must have taken a gel and you're back to life. It's all good. No worries. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, cool. Where were we?
He was telling us about his journey.
Yep, you were
and how
telling
he
us
started running.
that you ran Mumbai and then you didn't know that the Soles group existed and you came back and
Then the life probably just and then I joined Souls, and then we started this journey together for the Spice Coast Marathon, where we decided to organize an event. I also volunteered as any other member of the group. I just volunteered to be part of it, and then we organized it in 2014.
Yeah.
November, the first event happens. Around 1,000 odd runners participate, and people like us probably because of the one thing, most of the people who have participated in the Soles of Cochin event would know that the volunteers of SOC are play a big role in what comes out as an event for you. So,
Yeah.
and probably people liked it much, and then the next year we got a sponsor. IDBI Federal came into on board, and then from then on the SEM journey was nice. It's now into its 7th year, so
Yeah.
that's a story as far as SEM is concerned. And by the time then we see these events, I know Peter and Chennai Trekking Club. They organize an event called Chennai Trail Marathon.
So before you get to Vagamon, the question was, do you remember the exact moment when you guys said, "Hey, let's organize a trail race"?
Trail race. Okay. That happened probably somewhere in 2015, 2016 period. That's when, people had, that's what I said, people have slightly got into, I went and participated, few of us went and participated in the Chennai Trail Marathon, which was organized by the Chennai Trekking Club and Peter's team. And that happened somewhere in 2014, I believe, 2014, end of the 2014. And that happens, we go and participate, and probably because me personally, since I loved outdoors, trails became, I just got drawn towards the trails. And then we were hearing about other events. Malnad Anand and this Malnad team comes into picture. I think that happens in the year 2015 or so. These are all things that come side by side, and we come back. We have our own. We had a Apu who had gone to Korea for his as part of his work. He comes back with a lot of trail experience of running in Korea. He tells us about the stories of trail, and all this decides and just brings us to have Kerala is abundant. We've got a lot of trails and mountains. As we know, Kerala, they are called as God's own country for the little mountains and all those things that are there. So we thought that there could be some nice trail in Kerala where we could organize one. We went out in search of trails at different places in Kerala. But the problem we initially faced was most of the trails or the forest areas were either animal infested. There were a lot of elephants and tigers, so you can't allow humans to run there. It was a bit risky. So we didn't. So finally, we zeroed in on this place called Vagamon, and then we organized a small little event within our team in the year 2016. 35 odd people come in and participate, and people liked it. The people whosoever was there liked it, and then we wait for one or rather 2 more years, and during that time we visit other events. Since we visited Chennai Trail, and Anand was a big help there when we went to Malnad for our first edition. He helped us. He just showed us around what was happening there. That gave us a big boost. It was a big help in the sense. It told us actually night running can be done. We were not sure about whether and how night running could be done or things like that. Anand showed us the way, and probably that helped us, give us the confidence to have one in Vagamon as well. We organized our first event in the year 2018. 2018, and then it becomes a hit because of, again, as I said, the SOC volunteers. They put their hearts out to organizing that, and then when we organized, we also found that the people of Vagamon, it's a small place, it's a small hamlet down there. The little things we do there, here and there, it helps their economy, and they also loved us. They also loved us. We going back to the same place, as if when in the second year when we changed the date slightly or extended by a week, they came back to us saying that, why are you organizing it a bit late? We were waiting for you last week. So that's the kind of love that the people of Vagamon have given us, and that's how the story is about Vagamon.
Coming to the race, the first edition, 2018. What was some of the sort of initial challenges that you faced as a group in putting the race together?
Okay, first initial thing was, for each route marking, Vagamon is around 100 kilometers away from Cochin. So for finalizing the route, we had to visit the place every time from here to Vagamon, which is around 100 kilometers. So we used to drive every day morning. We have our own day jobs. Most of us are working and have our other businesses are there. So we found it that slightly difficult to go there. So that was a big challenge for us. So that is why it took almost 2 years, from 2016 to 2018, to finalize a course which was more or less ready for a trail. So we had to visit quite often, and then even for a trail marking, initially when we went and marked, we found that because of the nature of the trail, we marked it with certain ribbons, and ribbons got removed. And little children, kids, they found these ribbons very attractive. They just slightly removed it, put it on their heads, and moved on. And it was slightly difficult, so that is a challenge we found. And then by our constant visits for almost 2 years, people started understanding us, and that was one of those challenges, being away from Cochin, about 100 kilometers, when most of us stay in Cochin, and staying away from Cochin and going there. We used to, early morning, we used to leave by around 3 o'clock by a car from here, reach Vagamon in maybe around 5:15. Spend the day there, maybe till about noon, and then come back by 3 or 4. And sometimes obviously have slight bickerings even in the family. You have to be away from the family. Almost every weekend was spent in Vagamon. So that was slightly difficult to get your friends and family. You lose your social gatherings and things like that. But then that became part of our life. Family also understood, and that's how it is. That is one of those challenges. Marking, yes, it was. And we initially thought of volunteers even. Volunteers, we thought, for marking, we spent almost a week there before the first event, because we went there almost a week. We went twice or thrice for the marking of the course, because we found it's a windy place. We've been there. It's a windy place. So when we tie those ribbons and come back, sometimes what happens is the ribbons just fly off. And then, since it was a slightly out and back course, we found it slightly difficult, the marking, and we were not experts in that. We were just trying to figure our own way out, what was the best way out. We tried different things, and those were the initial challenges. But thankfully, the first year went off well. Nobody lost their way, and then we were lucky to have that, and people loved us purely because of volunteers. And volunteers, I would say, in the sense, all the volunteers have done their full marathons at one or the other events. So that they understood the person was coming before them. Be it for a slight massage, or for even for a water, or a slight an orange or a banana, whatever it is. People like that. I think the rest is for the participants to say how they liked it,
we love the heat and the torture.
This was my first year running this past January, and I only ran the 33K, and I wasn't out there for as long as the other people, but we started at 9, if I remember correctly, and I ran for 4 hours, and the last hour was just, it was torture because the sun was out, and it was just like, I just want to get to the finish line because the sun is just rounding me up.
Yeah, well, the joke on that was, we were given the name of that particular event, 33K, as Fun Run. So it is not at all fun. It is not at all fun because, since the 60K and the 90K started quite early in the day, they had at least initial 3-4 hours. They didn't have to take the sun.
Yeah.
But for the 33K, it was pure sun. So people jokingly said us that it should have been named Sun Run and not Fun Run.
I was just going to say that. It should be Sun Run, not Fun Run.
No, but I feel like it, even though it was hot, I think if anybody who did run a 33K and they were sort of, I just want to see what it's like to run a trail run, it definitely gives you an insight of what you're going to be running through later if you do longer distances. This is how it's going to be after you're already ran maybe 20, 30 kilometers. You're going to, that's one of the challenges, is that you have the sun that is blazing on you and you have to overcome that. So
it's a good initiation run, good stepping stone towards a 50 and a 60K.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea. That was the idea. We get more people into the trails.
Yeah, and then you also have this unique winner's medal. You do hand-drawn paintings and a straw hat. So what was the thinking behind that?
Okay, now for since you have run the course, the first 5K for the 60K runner passes through a place called Palette's Arts Residency. And now that is a place, and his owner of the names, he's an artist. His name is Cyril. So he was a big help while we were marking the course, and even he was the one person who took us around Vagamon. He's got some properties there in Vagamon, so he was the person who took us around. So, and every time we go there, we've seen his place. A lot of artists come there and stay there. And spend about 2-3 weeks there and do their paintings. So they do paint about what they see around. So that and we probably wanted to since we have seen those artists, and it was just probably our way of saying you might go back after your run from here, seeing all these trails. We were just wanted to present a small memento of Vagamon picture. We didn't want to send you a photograph. Photographs you can take on yours, but this is a slightly hand-drawn painting which comes in, which probably will adorn your drawing rooms.
It's much better than a trophy that goes up in a cabinet or under the bed and store it somewhere. This is something that you can put and you can see every day. And it reminds you of the race, it reminds you of the volunteering, it reminds you of the atmosphere. So
added to that, it also helps the person. The artist we just paid the artist, except for one of the years. It was one of our own person who actually painted it. It was Ramesh's daughter, Ramesh, who's our president, his daughter Amu painted the painting, I think in 2019. Except for other years, it was the painting where we had purchased those paintings from the artist. So it was kind of giving back to that community. Who have to help out. Artists are people who require a bit of help.
Very true.
No, that's great. I think it brings together the entire community.
And about those hats, I wanted to tell you, those hats are purchased. They are made by children. If you have seen again at the first 5K station, you must have seen a lot of kids at the aid station. They're from a cadet corps, which is called the Customs Cadet Corps. So those hats are made by one of those kids. So they make it's kind of a village industry. They make these kinds of hats. We saw those hats and immediately took up this idea of why not giving a hat. Better than giving out. We wanted to give out all things which are closer to nature, or even our the clay medals. We wanted to give an earthen product. Trails are all about staying on the ground. So signifies somewhere closer to what you feel at the ground on the race day.
It truly conveys, I think, what Vagamon ULTrail is all about. The way you've organized it, and then the finishing touches, of course, for every runner is the medal. and then for the fast runners, it's the trophy. So all of that, I think it ties in really well. It signifies, the meaning and the ethos behind the group and the race. But coming back to this year's edition, you threw in a couple of surprises. You had a fun run, sun run, 33K, which you called it a fun run. So you sort of roped people in thinking, oh, it's a piece of cake. And then they figured out it was something else. But then you also changes, I think, to the 60K course. You threw in a hill in the beginning. Yeah. So moving on to next year, 2021, what can we look forward to as participants? Do you have a new distance? Do you have any change? Can you let out a couple of secrets?
Well, as of now, you see, we normally during this period we do visit Vagamon. This is the period when this is holiday time for the children, so we do visit this time. Do have our own small little events or go there and run and check out little additions or the surprises to the course that we can offer you. But as the situation here, I mean, because of the COVID, we are not able to move around. So we don't think we'll make much of a change from the last year's course because we will stick to the same course as of and the distance. So that is more or less fixed. We will not be giving you any more surprises as far as the addition of the hills or otherwise is concerned. It could be more or less the same course unless it is necessitated by some permissions or some stuff like that, because see, most of the area that we pass through belong to private estates and they belong to the forest authorities, they belong to the livestock development board, and all those, these are all agencies which come in and help us and allowing this. So it's all depends upon that particular day and or the permission on that particular day, and that is one of the reasons why actually we don't give out the GPX files in advance, unlike many of the trail races. We don't want to give out the GPX file because we don't want to confuse the person. Suddenly you give out the GPX file and the last moment there is a change being made in the course because of these permission issues. It might be slightly difficult. So that's why we don't give out the GPX file, but we do generally give out the elevation profile and things like that. And I generally believe that our course is fairly well marked.
I've run it twice. I've done the 60K twice, and I haven't faced any issues with respect to markings or getting lost. Even at the aid stations, they're fully stocked. There's plenty of fruit, the sweet oranges. The first aid station, it's still cool when you're running through the first aid station, and it's only a couple of, I think it was 5 or 6K in, or
it's five and a half.
5.5K in, so you don't really need to stop. But I always stop to grab those oranges because they're cold at that time. But very well stocked and.
I mean, I've only ran it once, and I only did the 33K. But even then, I had everything. I didn't stop at many aid stations. I think I only stopped at the halfway point at the main aid station. 17. And then on the way back, I did stop, I think, at 2 other ones because that's when it started to get hot. So I wanted some water. There was plenty of stuff, and I didn't get lost either. Everything was well marked.
We have a lot of questions coming into the chat room. But before I get to those, what about a 100-miler? Do we get to see a 100-miler at Vagamon? Maybe not next year, maybe a couple of years from now. Have you guys discussed that at all?
See, you want to come and run 100 miles there, this is not an issue. There is enough and more.
Okay, that's fine.
But as far as organizing an event is concerned, there are many more challenges. We still, get used to this night running, the volunteering at the night. See, our volunteers at the station stay up for almost 18 hours. So we need to figure out how we can work that around and things like that. So probably even extending it from 90 to 100 is also a challenge, because that means more of night running and volunteering at the night. See how the lights things, because so those things we'll work it out, and let's see how the distances. First, we want to make sure what we do is to the best of our ability, and then see, increasing distance can be done any moment. There is enough and more space in Vagamon to run.
No, I think you've hit a sweet spot with the distance, because people who are used to a 50K and who want to graduate to a 50 miler, the 60 gives them a good opportunity to sort of push a little bit beyond, and then when they finish, they can sort of judge how much they have left. And then also people who've done who are used to a 50 miler, which is 80K, and then want to run 100, they get to run a 90 at Vagamon. So you allow people to sort of step up, just like you do with the fun run initiative and introduction. So
well, I feel like you can even make the 33K a competitive run. I think it's a good distance, especially for people who are looking to just run fast at that distance. It's a nice sweet spot for anybody who doesn't want to be out there for so long, but still wants to enjoy the trails. So I think it's I mean, every time I run, it's hard for me to just say I'm going to go out there and have fun. I have a little bit of a competitive mentality, but I think it's a good distance. And I even thinking about it for next year, I would even want to run the short distance again and improve my time.
Okay, let's get some questions in.
Before we get to the first question, I had a question. Since your race is a very boutique race, so there's only a limited number of slots, is that something that you're looking to maintain going forward, or are you looking to?
That's again part of our culture. What we think, in a trails, if we allow more people to run on a trail, that also in some manner actually deteriorates the trail. If we have from around 250 or rather 500 people running on the trail on the same day, it actually somewhere down the line, every run that we on, or every trail that we, every time the trail is used by somebody, it hurts those trees, plants, everything that we see around. So we don't want to actually extend the numbers suddenly or just open out and say that we'll take in 1,000 numbers. That might not happen. But maybe, yes, incremental changes might happen here and there. Maybe we might take from 250 to 300, or maybe those kind of numbers would be there. Plus, we also want to organize a race which is within our grasp. The numbers, the places the volunteering, and everything comes in. And all in all, we just want to hold the numbers as of now. Let's see how things go from year to year.
I'm sure the accommodation is also challenging, up there.
Yes, it is. You will get places, but we wanted to think everything under our control. We under our reach. So suddenly, if you have 1,000 people running the course, it would be difficult for us to even track those people. 250 people, we track each and every runner on the course, and that is done manually. We don't have any timing chip and stuff like that. We track them manually through our own system by every aid station. So even if somebody gets lost at some point of time, we get an information that person is lost at least, and we try to find him out and bring him back to the trail. So I mean, if the 250 number goes up to 500, it might be slightly difficult with our present strength as of now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first question, I think this is a pretty common question. Is it mandatory to run a full marathon before attempting an ultra? What's your take? You've done a whole bunch, so.
Well. I would say yes. Because see, a marathon in itself is a challenge. So unless you have gone through that challenge of doing a marathon, attempting an ultra would be slightly difficult. But I have found we had one of our runners here in Cochin who had attempted his ultra before doing his full marathon. Those are rare cases, but generally, if you want to follow a certain template kind of a thing, I think the graduation from each distance should be it should be incremental. You don't suddenly jump to a half marathon. You do a 5K, 10K, and then slowly graduate yourself to a 20 and stuff like that. When suddenly jumping to an ultra without doing a full marathon, you will not know what your body has gone through. Every full marathon, your body must have gone through certain challenges, and without understanding that, jumping into an ultra, and most of the ultras are trails, and they in itself also present a different challenge in themselves. So right. I would suggest it is better to do a mandatory full marathon before running an ultra.
Yeah, definitely, and also spend a lot of time. Just time on
food.
the mountains. Just go trekking. Spend maybe 4 or 5 hours moving through the mountains. Jog a bit, run a bit, and see how you feel. Okay, Sushil says, what is your advice for someone planning their first 90K at Vagamon?
Well, see, I don't know, Sushil, which other events you have run, but Vagamon will present you with a different challenge in the sense it's quite sunny at times. I'd say from about 12 to around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, it is slightly sunny, so you will have to be and the area, and you will have a very humid weather there. So that is one challenge. Apart from that, a 90K in Vagamon or anywhere else is as the same. But it's a beautiful place. The terrain keeps changing as you move around the coast. So my advice is train for slightly humid weather and a sunny weather if you're training for Vagamon, because that's one challenge you will face which you might not face at other places.
Yes.
Yeah. Heat training.
Yeah, most definitely. I definitely second that. I've done the Malnad Ultra in the CTC Javadum Hills, and I would compare CTC Javadum Hills to Vagamon to the fact that it's mostly exposed.
Yes. Yeah. I think the Javadu presents is a good challenge. It's almost of the same. It's sunny, it's humid, and because so I think Javadu would be you can compare Javadu to the trails in Vagamon.
Yeah. Switching distances now. Please give your tips to prepare for the 60K next year. Anything different?
Nothing much. You'll have to bear with the sun, humidity, weather, and things like that. But it's your first ultra. I understand, Ashwin, it's your first ultra. So if it's your first ultra, spend a lot of time on foot. It is trails, so spend a lot of mountain running or things like that, which will prepare yourself to the challenges that you are likely to face at Vagamon. In addition to that, be prepared for a sunny, sultry weather.
Yeah.
Make sure you carry enough hydration with you, enough water, enough electrolytes, because you'll definitely need them.
Yeah, that's part of the mandatory kit, that you will have to have a 1 liter of water and carry with your hydration bag always with you. That's mandatory as far as the ultras are concerned. So here we also follow that bit strictly. Though our aid stations are well equipped to give you the hydration you require, but we advise you to have yourselves sufficiently stocked for the time between the aid stations.
Yeah. Speaking of mandatory kit, the follow-up question is it mandatory to have specific shoes like Yoko? I'm not sure what Yoko is. I've never heard of that. It's probably.
Well, it's not mandatory to have specific shoes like Yoko. You can do the trails run even without a kind of a trail shoe. What people kind of those trail shoes. People have done it with trail shoes and also in Luna. So I don't think it is. I mean, it's not part of our mandatory kit that you should have a specific shoes like a trail shoe.
Yeah.
You have to have your own shoe. Barefoots is not permitted.
Yeah, I don't think I would recommend that for any trail run.
Barefoot.
I mean, some people are quite strong mentally to handle that, but I think for most of us, it's very essential to wear shoes because you don't know what you're going to step on, and there's just a lot of rocks, sticks, stones.
Yes, the problem is there's a part of the area which is actually frequented by tourists as well on part of the coast. So, I mean, there are people who trash the tourists who trash. There could be, you'll have this odd things get into your legs. So better be safe. So carry a shoe with you, but there is nothing as specific shoes required.
Yeah. It's a bit of a personal question, Vijayan. What pleasure do you get when you make every edition of Vagamon more challenging than the previous one?
I think you should know that answer. You have challenged us enough at all the CTC events, so I shouldn't be answering. I mean, you made your changes in the courses. You asked Peter, he would throw in fresh challenges every time. So it's not that I personally get. I think it's probably the team as such. Any team which organizes an event would like the participant to go that extra mile to have his medal. So once people, since we have many runners coming in again, so give them a bit of extra push or an extra challenge. It always helps the runner as well. Amin has finished each of the editions, so
yeah. Okay. Good. Here's one from Ashwin. He says, we want to hear more from you as a runner and not an organizer. How can you motivate more people to run ultras? So speak as a runner. Don't speak as an organizer. As a runner, the pain, the joy,
for me, I mean, I would say personally, I think what brings into your running, what brings Ashwin into running is his personal thing, and for to motivate, it's a challenge that you take upon. It's the running is what to me running is fighting with an alter ego of yourself. You might have done a 5K the one day, and you just wanted to probably go and do a 10K and push your body to the next higher limit, and that's what motivates me personally to go to the next distance. Timing is not as important to me but yes, the distances and the trails and the challenges it poses to your body. Your body is tired out, dead, and then restarting your body, rebooting it, and going it for the next 5K is a challenge, and it's a motivation is I know for me it's just self-driven. I take it each challenge. Probably I can explain races to you. I remember doing Kodaikanal Ultra, which was a 130K. I started off in cold weather, doing around. I finished about 50K, and I'm dead. I can't move. What I do, I just sleep on the pavement somewhere on the side. Suddenly Thomas comes by from the CTC. He says, why can't you move the next? I said, you go ahead, I'm going to sleep, I'm not going to come. Some passerby comes in and wakes me that you don't sleep there, there's a possibility that you might fall down. Okay, then I get up from there, I just move the next distance, and then I move for the 1 kilometer, and then that probably I decide to move the next distance, and then that pushes me. The inside the body says that you're going to reach the next aid station. That motivation level, I don't know, I can't motivate others, but it just comes from me, within me, to probably challenge myself and do more distances. That's all.
Yeah. One of the things that that helped me when this year rather at Vagamon, when my stomach had gone for a toss. As you know, I was vomiting really uncontrollably at the aid station. And then when you spoke with me and you're like, hey, just give it a try, walk a little bit. If you don't feel good, turn around. So I started walking, I put some music on, and I started feeling better. And what I was thinking about was all the training runs that I had done in Bombay. Running in Bandra, which is where I live, from my house to the end, which is about 5K, and then back, and just doing loops and loops and loops, and getting just mentally exhausted of running the same space back and forth. But during training, thinking that, okay, this is a great mental test. This is a great way for me to prepare for the race. And so then when you're in the race and you hit a tough spot, and you think back to your training and say, hey, remember those days when you were running back and forth just a 5K loop for hours, and you were telling yourself this is going to help me? Now you don't have to run the loop. You're running in paradise, and you're running towards an aid station. You're running towards the finish. So that's something that helped me. And so yeah, just small tricks to motivate yourself. Okay, more questions coming in. Wow. Sushil says, how do you stimulate high elevation training apart from hill runs?
Well, I think there is no other goal rather than doing a hill run, but that's all I do. A few of stair steppings which I do. I mean, especially during this COVID lockdown period, what I was doing to simulate a part of the training. I mean, the hill run was climbing steps. Taking a cue, I think it's one of those training videos which was shown. They said that stair stepping is one of the good things that you can do for training yourself for the hill run.
Okay. Yeah. And then here's one from Suresh. He says, what kind of specific stress do our legs go through during a trail run? What strengthening exercises would you suggest?
Well, for me, I would personally say trail running is a strengthening exercise in itself, because I don't think, if you are more into trails, your body would actually get automatically get the enough of massage that you require. I mean, unlike in road races where you almost be hitting one particular spot every time for around say 42 kilometers. Here you keep changing your massage. The different muscles work when you jump from one spot to other, and I think you don't have to do a specific strengthening exercise if you are practicing your normal runs on trails as such. For me, trail running is even if I during a period, if I'm say slightly off running a road race, if I go to Vagamon and probably run even a 15-20K, I come back, that's enough for me to get my all strengthening training done.
Yeah, I think definitely trail running works out different muscles. But if you don't get access to the trails and you're not able to train there, but you still want to run a trail run, you work on some leg workouts, especially working out your core, your glutes, making sure your glutes are very, very strong, because you will need that and your quads, because you'll need that for the climbing and the descending as well.
Yeah, Vijayan, you were saying you wanted to add something.
Same thing. I would say, in the sense, glutes, core, all these things. That is what help you, going forward.
Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, please put them in now, because we have a couple of more minutes left. But before that, I have a question, Vijayan, for the whole group. Maybe you can try and give me a group sort of answer. All of y'all are runners. Y'all participate in races. Y'all run several road races, several trail races, and then all of you are also organizers. You organize a road race and you organize a trail race. How do you sort of balance both of those? Because as a runner, you're going into the event with a whole different mindset, and then as an organizer, you're going in with a completely different mindset. And you may have to, as an organizer, I guess, you may be faced with certain things which that you as a runner would want, but those things you as an organizer cannot give for some reason or the other. It could be a safety call, it could be logistics, it could be something else. So how do you all manage that?
Well, one thing is that you've got a strong base of around 200 volunteers in Soles who would put their hands up for any kind of job. So, any kind of activity that comes up for organizing an event. And, probably I think the fact is that since most of us are runners, and, when we put up a task for a volunteering or things like that, I think they understand, the volunteer who's standing or the organizer. As organizers, I do understand the point of what the runner is going to accept. If say I'm going to expect, if I'm running Mumbai and I expect that, okay, I have to have an aid station every 2K, so I would try to do that in my event where I organize the event. See, like probably, I know since you have been at Vagamon, we thought that, one thing where we found there are a lot of vegan runners like you. So I think we knew that, vegan runners who come to places like Vagamon where the food is predominantly a non-vegetarian food. So you would find it difficult to find your own food. So we try to stock our aid stations in such a manner that vegan runner, one odd vegan runner who might be participating in an event, should be taken care of. So probably that helped me. I'm not a vegan runner, but the thought of me being a runner has helped me understanding that there could be a vegan runner who would come back and would want something of his choice there. So
Yeah.
I think that in that effect helps, and probably what to stock at the aid stations, giving variety of things. Probably like if you give at every aid station, we try to. I mean, at Vagamon we actually pamper people for choices. Different kind of food. So we understand that there is. I mean, as a runner, I would like a different kind of food at every place. So we probably brought that into our organizing aspect, and when we stock our aid stations, we give in different kind of variety of foods, ensure that the water and everything is there. Whatever we have committed to the runner is provided. So I think what we do our understanding as a runner helps us in putting up as a better show while organizing those events.
Awesome.
No, I appreciate the fact that you do have options for vegans at your race. It does make things a lot easier.
Yeah. And very tasty food as
yes.
well. The rasam and the rice, and oh, wow. Yeah. Awesome. It's been amazing chatting with you. Before we wind up and have our closing comments, we have a small quick fire round for you. So a couple of questions. Just throw out an answer as fast as you can. Whatever answer comes to your mind first, right? So yeah, as a runner, would you prefer a 50K or a 100K?
100K.
Okay.
Would you prefer running a race or organizing a race?
Running a race.
That was an easy one to get. What's the toughest ultra you've ever run?
Oman UTMB. I didn't finish it, but I still enjoy it. I would rate it almost similar to the Deccan Ultra, which I did in February. Both I did not finish, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Spice Coast Marathon or Vagamon ULTrail?
Come on, there's no easy questions. This is the fun round, Vijayan. It's the fun round.
Vagamon ULTrail.
Vagamon ULTrail. Awesome. And then yeah, what's your all-time favorite post-race food?
I see. I would love to have something called something called kanji. It's rice and just rice water or something like that. That is what I would prefer. But we don't get that in races. I'm okay with having a curd rice. I think that's fine.
Yeah, simple enough. Yeah. Well, it's been great. It's been really, really interesting.
Yeah. I think before we close it off, I do have one question since it is the lockdown, and there's a lot of uncertainty out there whether races are going to happen at all in 2020. When will you guys take a call whether or not Vagamon will happen?
See, we'll keep options. See, given to us, if the government does permit us to organize an event, we would like to have the event at any day. We have fixed the dates already there. We would take a call based on what the government decides on the day. So like say, if they decide we might require, because we're not making any changes to the course, or volunteers are fixed. We know what to take there. We know what to do at the course markings and things like that. So, but as far as I can't give you a timeline as to when we would take the call, but certainly by at least by September or so, we should be able to decide on how to go forward. On the event. And we hope that by that time there would be more clarity on.
Yeah, we're all hoping for the same. I mean, as runners, we've come there for the last 2 years. So as runners, of course, we want the event to take place next year. We want to come and we want to run again. But, we understand that it's a very strange and very difficult situation. So everyone should be patient. And I'm sure that you as a team will, officially make an announcement one way or the other when the time is right. Whenever that time is. It could be a month from now. It could be a couple of months from now. So
I think most important, be patient. I know many of us, as Amit said, as runners, we get a little bit impatient, wanting to know, well, what am I have to train? What am I training for?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, a lot of these things right now are out of our control, and they're out of the control of organizers. So we just have to give them space and give them time to letting us know when we're going to be able to hit the trails again or any other event. Most importantly, we just ask runners, let's focus on what's in our control. We can whatever we can do. For those of us who can go outside, take advantage of that and get your training in, because when the time is right, you'll be ready to go. You'll be like, oh yeah, I have all the training.
Yeah. Better train like the race is on, because if it is, you want to be in good shape for the heat and for the fun run, if you're going to do the fun run.
Before I think you wind up, I just want to thank you, on behalf of the team Vagamon and Soles of Cochin and the entire set of volunteers for. It's always been our pleasure to bring the race to the people. We always love the participants. For us, every participant, every runner who comes in is a joy for us to see, and we would like to maintain that. We keep doing our things in a better manner each succeeding year, and trying to bring back more people who love trails back to Vagamon. Welcome you all. That's all. And hope 21 happens.
Yeah. The love is mutual, Vijayan. We really love coming to your events. We love seeing you all at events, whether it's bumping into you on the course at another race like Malnad, or bumping into you at an aid station at Vagamon, whichever it is. It's always fun to see you and Ramesh and the entire group. It's great to get those quick 1 minute back massages when we're sitting at the aid station. That's another thing you guys are famous for. You really take care of us. You take care of us like we're friends, like we're family. And that's
it is a family event for us. For you, anybody, each of the runner for us is part of our family. So
I was just going to say that it's not only with people it's with every single person that comes to the race. They get the same welcome, the same warm welcome for everyone, and that's something great. And I think you're also coming back to what we touched upon during our talk about whether you want to grow from 250 runners to 500 or 1,000. I don't think it's a case of whether you can, because you certainly can. If you open it up, that people are going to register. Everyone's waiting for January to come and run the race, so you'll definitely get the numbers. But it comes back to what you said, which is the belief that small is beautiful, quality over quantity, and really striking that relationship with each participant, whether it's through giving them a good course to run, or a great meal at the finish line, or whichever way it may be. Everyone experiences the race in a very different way. A lot of fun runners may experience it in a very, very different way when they think of run and they come. So whichever way it is, I think you guys are doing a wonderful job. We are certainly big fans. We're fans of the group. We're fans of the race. We're fans of all of you as individual runners. All of you all are really accomplished runners as well individually. So we look up to that, and we hope, of course, situation aside, we hope that the race is on. We want to come. But thank you for taking the time. I know it's late evening. It may be dinner time. I'm not sure, but thanks for taking the time. It's been wonderful speaking with you.
Same here, Amit and Monica. Thank you.
And for everyone else who tuned in, thanks for taking the time to tune in, and lots of good questions, lots of comments here which I haven't really added to the chat, but there are lots of great Vijayan, love Soles of Cochin, so many comments. So you guys can read through those after the chat. Remember to tune in tomorrow. We have Anand from the Malnad Ultra tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock.
Waiting to hear from him as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to chat with him. And learn more about how the Malnad Ultra came about. He's a runner as well, and I know a little bit of a background story, but it'll be great to dig in more. Anand, I don't know if he's spoken publicly a lot about the race, so hopefully we can pull some secrets out of him, and yeah, we can ask him what his plans for this year or next year are. So hope to see you guys tomorrow. Have a good evening. Enjoy.
And sorry about the technical difficulties that we had. Technology. Sometimes it works. Sometimes we just have to find ways to make it work. But I thank you so much for your patience and staying with us. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.
Yep, we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your dinner. Subscribe to the channel, guys. If you can subscribe, so you'll always know when a talk is coming up. We're gonna try and do talks, a couple of talks every week. We have I think 4 or 5 talks lined up for next week as well. So do subscribe and enjoy your evening. Okay. Good night.
Bye, Vijayan.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.